Breaking news. The NHL has announced that the Devils games have been postponed for the next 3 games as the COVID-19 list increases for the New Jersey Devils. I mean, that's it definitely shook me up. Once I got those alerts on my phone, Chris Ryan, Kevin Weeks, I think it was Kevin Weeks had put it out first. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Shorts Guy. Well, that's the reality of it.
We knew this would happen at some point. We hoped it wouldn't, but it was just inevitable. Looking at the list, we got 10 on the list now. Obviously Blackwood, Carrick, Dell, and Vatanen are there for their COVID protocols. Dell and Vatanen there because they're quarantining Carrick because of family issues. Blackwood.
Connor Carrick just had a baby.
That's what I mean. Family issues.
Yep.
Family issues. Not sickness related, but family issues.
Yep.
So 3 of those guys are there for non-COVID reasons, sort of. Blackwood, we haven't heard anything on, but now we see that it's taking over, a good chunk of the team. It's taking over 2 of the 3 of the fourth line. That's been our engine. I know. So from what we've seen so far, next 3 games, 2 against Pittsburgh, 1 against the Rangers, postponed until later in the season. When they make them up, I don't know. And all facilities are closed, which I'm curious what this means for Binghamton in the same building. If all Devils facilities are closed, does this mean Binghamton is postponed? I think that's something we're going to have to look towards and see if that's going to happen. There was going to be questions about tomorrow's game against Pittsburgh anyway, with Pittsburgh being in the city right now and not being able to get home. So tomorrow's game was looking like it was questionable to be, regardless. But to see this, you broke this news to us in our text. I was out, doing my homeowner duties and getting rid of snow. But
I was doing the same thing too, and I just had gotten in, just laying down after shoveling 2 feet of snow. All the alerts came. It all started with Kevin Weeks, and just the domino effect. Corey Massasak chiming in. Chris Ryan of NJ.com chiming in. It's
the Let's Go Devils podcast chiming in.
Yeah, now we're chiming in, and you can chime in too on our Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, not YouTube Live because they disabled the comments for whatever reason, and on Twitch. So we're just breaking this to you right now that we won't be seeing Devils hockey till earliest till Tuesday next week if they don't, postpone more games. So hopefully this, following the protocol right now, will, kind of stop the bleeding here, so to speak, lack of a better term. But, we got to stop the spread right now. This goes beyond hockey. And I think the NHL and the Devils, we can't argue it. Yeah, it stinks, but they're doing the right thing right now. If they're testing positive, if there's an issue that they're not comfortable with, do it. Just do it.
You gotta close
we
it
care
down.
about the
You gotta
players.
close it down.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's the one thing we got to remember is these players are humans. They're individuals. They have families. They have, they're people like you and I. We got to be worrying about their health and safety as well, because really what they're doing is they're really doing this for our entertainment. So we have to be cognizant that they're humans and this is going to happen. They're
put in a tough spot. They're put in the tough
they
spot.
Are.
Everybody is, and everyone's doing their best, and we appreciate that. It's one of those things. I hate reporting this kind of stuff with you.
Yeah.
But is what Joey Giardina says. Hope you guys go live daily so I can get my Devils fix, please. We'll do our best. It's hard.
We try.
But we have 9.5 months of experience of talking about Devils hockey with no actual
nothing.
Devils hockey. And
Yeah.
also, this day has sucked so far. It's like 2 feet of snow, and our condolences to the family of I forgot his name, Dustin Diamond. Is that his name? A Screech.
Oh, Screech. Yeah.
He passed away
Yeah.
today. And I'm just like, oh. After that, I was just like, what next? And then I got the alerts on my phone about what's going on. And again, I hope whoever's in the protocol right now, they're okay. It's just
Hmm.
playing out the process, being very careful. The New Jersey Devils, they probably have the best team doctors that money can buy. They'll make sure that the players are going to be okay, and
Yeah.
this is the way to do it. I mean, we were expecting it. We were like you were saying before. Um, we were hoping that it wouldn't happen, but the reality is, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And when it
Right
does
now, yeah.
happen, this virus is so contagious that you got to be careful. You got to be careful, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's you got these guys are in a locker room setting. I don't know what their protocol in the locker room is, but they're on the bench. These guys are around each other. They're around other players. I mean, you don't know where you pick it up. That's the scary thing about this virus, and we've all been living with it. We were there when the league initially shut down in March. A lot of questions then. We're
you were
here
you
now.
you were you were at your job, and I was in a
Yeah,
golf course in South Carolina. Pull over to the
yeah.
side of the road to break that news. I forgot about that. That's we
Oh, how could
go.
you forget about that? We broke that news
Yeah,
on March 10th. But
yeah.
regardless, Sam Martin in the group, yes, they did postpone Saturday as well. So just kind of putting that out there. Yeah, so this is a bummer because we had a lot of good games coming up. The Devils were looking good coming out of Buffalo. That fourth line was looking really hot. That it's it sucks because now we're going to compact our schedule. We were already talking about on the last couple of podcasts. We have not had an opportunity to practice. They were potentially going to have a practice opportunity in those two games off between the Rangers and Pittsburgh. Now, I mean, looking at the schedule based on, I don't know what the other teams are. There's not a lot of room. This is going to potentially cause, you got to assume this is going to potentially cause some back to backs. I can't imagine that they would do a triple header, but I know we have Pittsburgh 2 games in a row in March. Could you potentially stick one before that first game? I mean, you could. I do not envy the person that's got to reschedule these games. But they're going to be rescheduled. With all hope, they're rescheduled. Could you imagine, Sam? Listen, imagine this one. I
What's
know
that?
it would make for a disastrous personal schedule for these guys and be real tough on their bodies. Could you imagine if they took this Ranger game postponed from Saturday and shoved it into like
A
a
five
triple
game
header
series?
during Ranger Hate Week?
Wow.
Could you imagine that? Which, by the way, look for that coming up in April. That'll be Ranger Hate Week. We'll promote the heck out of that one. But looking at the schedule, to me, it just seems like it's going to be a nightmare to reschedule these games. Yeah, I just hope they find a smart way to reschedule. Maybe you tack them at the end of the season. Maybe who knows? I don't envy that person, but for right now, all we know, next 3 games postponed. 10 players on COVID protocol. 3 for quarantine purposes, the rest for actual COVID purposes. So that's 7 out of the 10 for COVID purposes. You hope it doesn't get worse. Let's just hope that this is it from this initial grouping. That these guys will be tested pretty much probably once a day for the next 3 days, 4 days, till they can tell for sure who's got what and who doesn't have what. But you got to assume that everyone in the room is exposed at this point.
I mean, for
Being
me,
away like that,
for
you know.
me, I was doing the We Can Do It podcast last
Mm-hmm.
week, following the Riveters as they were in the bubble, and that was a shocker because you're thinking bubble, how the NHL last summer, but that was summer, was able to have 0 cases, and the Riveters had to pack up and go home after having a very strong
Yeah.
showing in the bubble.
Oh
It's
my
like a
gosh, did
double
they?
whammy for me. It's a double whammy for me. It's hard on the women in the NWHL and the Riveters. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
on the Devils. Right now, I mean, this virus does not discriminate. It will
No, not
it
at
will
all.
spread. It will spread. And obviously we're not COVID-19 experts, but it affects certain people and it doesn't affect certain people for whatever reason. But the bottom line is it's very, very, very contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And but I will like to change the subject just a little bit because I
Sure.
see some people in the Facebook group, because yesterday's podcast with Michael Landsberg, we always talking about contagious in a negative sense, but in a positive sense, I'm very proud of our Devils fans that were in our Facebook Live talking about mental health yesterday. I see some of them
Yeah.
in there, like Cheryl Miller. We really appreciate that because we had no idea. We really
Yeah,
didn't know what to
absolutely.
expect when you're doing that kind of podcast. But if there's anything contagious in a positive sense, is we're all Devils fans here right now. I can't be with you physically. You can't be with us physically. I hardly even see Shorts Guy, and I used to see you once a week, maybe three
At
times a
least, yeah.
week.
At
Yeah,
least,
now it's
yeah.
like, but with this platform and with this podcast, we really try to stay connected. And to Joey, we will try to do. It's not easy. We'll try to do it daily. I mean, hey, we got 2 feet of snow, and I got
Mm-hmm.
JCPNL, electric. That's like the
You still
Devil's
got
power
power on.
play. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a bad power play with JCPNL. It's like the power goes out before the storm. It's like, how does that happen, right?
Preemptive,
So,
preemptively putting the power out just so it doesn't get worse.
oh, I know. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna do our best. But the breaking news right now, as you may have heard, the NHL has announced 3 games of the New Jersey Devils
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, Thursday through Saturday, February 6th. 2 Pittsburgh games and 1 Rangers game is postponed. At the earliest return right now, we're shooting for February 9th at Prudential Center against the Pittsburgh Penguins. But sentiment right now is I'm not so sure. We'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see
Uh,
about that.
yeah. I mean, we'll come live to you guys whenever we find out more. If they extend this, if they extend this pause, if they, if the pause comes off. So as always, we remind you, set your alerts to know when we go live. This way you don't miss anything. Um, Also, don't forget to check out our sister podcasts in the Hockey on Tap podcast and
Oh, absolutely.
State of the Fan Address, because you'll get hockey content there too. Hockey on Tap is beer and mostly league wide hockey with me and the other guys, and some idiocy about our own team that we play on too. So, but
Yeah.
we'll break any news that we can with all hope. This is a short pause, and it's only these 3 games. That's the best case scenario. But overall, what we need to do is hope for the best for the players, that this isn't anything serious. And you bring up what we did last night on the podcast. You know what? You would hope that the Devils are also looking out for the mental health of these guys. With Carrick being on the team and him being an advocate, you would hope that this is going to be part of their procedure as well, and checking on these guys not only physically but mentally. Because these guys live to play the game, and any pause like this and something you absolutely love is tough. Is tough. So that's what you hope for, the best for these players too, because if these players are happy, they're going to play much better. And what really sucks too is that locker room feel after that game yesterday, with Coach Ruff and the rest of the team kind of jabbing at each other in a fun way, kind of, congratulating Mikey McLeod, but still kind of sticking it to him a little bit, sticking it to PK in a fun way. That locker room seemed like they were coming together and having a lot of fun. A pause like this it almost sounds like it's the worst possible time for it. it could also bring them together much better as well. So let's hope that it brings them together, that they all look out for each other. We have strong player leadership. With even though Palmieri is on the list, but we have strong player leadership as far as I can see between him and Nico. Let's just hope that these guys stick together and they come out of this even stronger than they went into the pause.
Yeah, and Mike Rossi wanted to have the fans involved live for a pregame and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, we are working on the technology to allow that to happen. We used the UK Devils fans, the Kilted Warriors, this past weekend as our guinea pig. It worked out pretty well for the most part. So we're working on it. Don't you worry, Mike Rossi.
And Mike, one of the things that we have the most fun of that we got to do a couple times last season was having live events before the game. That is some of the most fun stuff that we can do, because not only do we get to just hang out and do the podcast together, but we get to hang out with everyone, with people like you, Mike, and everyone that wants to come out and just have a good time before the game. Talk Devils hockey, have a couple beers, and then move across the street into the game. So we are looking forward to having live events pregame as well. It's just a matter of once all this clears up and it's safe for us to be together, we absolutely will do it. So don't worry, that stuff is coming. We're looking forward to it just as much as you are.
Also, a programming note. It's very hard to get 4 or 5 of us: Nick Villano, Scotty, Beer Baron, Shorts Guy, and I. It's very tough to do it. We have busy schedules, but we're going to do our best. That's all we can do. I do the Woo Report. The Woo Report is really at noontime. It seems like it's at noontime because I get a little hungry. And when I get a little hungry, then I start eating, and then I start thinking Devils hockey, right? So expect probably a Woo Report tomorrow at noon Eastern. Probably talking about, okay, what's next, the momentum. But I can tell you this, and this is probably going to be on the Woo Report. This team is fun. And it seems like the players are having fun. So they're coming together, even though they're going to have a short pause right now, hopefully. It's going to be a lot of Zoom meetings, right? But they are very confident right now. They have something to prove. And also, Wednesday, on the State of the Fan address, we have the Binghamton Devils play-by-play announcer, Rob Lapolis, will be on the program. So we've got a lot of questions, because if a lot of players are on this.
Now we have more.
With all these players in Newark from Binghamton, combined with what's going on with the big club, the NHL Devils, right? Binghamton had a very strong finish before the season was canceled. And so far, all these young players are playing out of their minds with the big club, the New Jersey Devils, right now. So right now, more than ever, there could be a chance. I mean, 10 players are now in the protocol right now. 3 of them is just because of procedural. We don't know the other 7. That's 10 players is half of the team. And we're going to ask Rob a lot of questions, Nick and I, a lot of questions, because we have a lot of questions. He's in Newark right now doing the Binghamton Devils. We will try to bring you as much as we can, access to just what's going on. What are we doing? And we're going to do that, and we'll try to trust me, we got 9.5 months of no Devils hockey experience to fill in the void. We might have to do a real New Jersey podcast. How to cut your hair again.
We haven't done one of them in a while.
Yeah, real New Jersey. We should talk about something. Like
I know. We definitely have some things to do. And another programming note, definitely tune in later on tonight for Hockey Untapped and see what myself and Billy Dean, Little Steve, and Schwim are drinking, and what our views are on the other league-wide stuff. You're going to get the point of view of a Pittsburgh fan.
Schwim apologized to me because he's stuck in his girlfriend's house, and he didn't bring a computer. He didn't bring anything. And I was like, well, do you have a phone? He's like, yeah, but I got T-Mobile and it sucks. I'm like, what do you have T-Mobile for? Come on.
Schwim. It's swim.
It's swim.
But yeah, so tune in for that. See what we're drinking. See what we think about the rest of the league. Obviously, this is going to be the, for my portion, talking about the Devils. This will be kind of up there. We were going to have a chance to talk Devils Pittsburgh since Penguins is Steve's a Penguins fan. So definitely check that out later on. Hockey Untapped will be 8 o'clock tonight. So check that out too.
Absolutely. And also, just remember, folks, when you're shoveling, be careful. Take it very seriously. The
frequent breaks if you need it.
Frequent breaks. Don't overdo it. Okay, your heart is your strong muscle in your body, but you don't want to overtax that. Also, let this be a learning lesson. What's happening with the New Jersey Devils right now? Take COVID seriously, okay? Just do that. Please be safe, everyone. It's definitely snowing outside in New Jersey.
If you don't have
to go
anywhere,
again.
Don't go anywhere.
And so Hockey on Tap, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Primetime Radio Network. You can visit there, subscribe to the Primetime Radio Network's YouTube channel page. And also, just remember, let's go Devils!